everyone, and welcome to the Blessed Life, week 41. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you've been having a great week, being blessed, that God is just pouring out His love and favor upon all of you. So, let me know what's going on in your world, what's going on with, your lives as God is blessing you and enriching your lives. Just let me know what's going on with you. So anyway, let's get right into it. Now the scripture comes from Hebrews 7 verse 25. Therefore he is able once and forever to save those who come to God through him. This is entitled God is Able. Read 2 Corinthians chapter 9 verse 8. Take notice that Paul said God is able. This is where every step of faith must begin. You must start by believing that God is able. Able to do what? Make all grace abound towards you. Let me give you a quick lesson in the nuances and intricacies of the ancient Greek language. The Greek word translated all in that verse literally means all. Isn't that amazing? You need to know that God is able to make all grace abound towards you. How often? Always. Not sometimes, not on days when the stock market closes higher, not when interest rates are low. Always. God is able to make all grace abound to you always. When we sow bountifully, God's grace toward us abounds. It overflows. And what is the result of this overflow of grace? We begin to always have all sufficiency in all things. How much sufficiency? All. There's that word again. Sufficiency in how many things? And again, we say all. This is truly an amazing scripture. Once you give cheerfully, God is able to make all grace abound towards you so that you always have all sufficiency in all things. Why? So you may have an abundance of abundance for every good work. Verse 8 is a promise that is linked to verse 6 and 7. All grace, abundance, and sufficiency are a direct result of sowing bountifully from a cheerful heart. This section is needs or wants. Let me offer a few words about the phrase all sufficiency. I believe the word sufficiency refers to our needs. It relates to having a sufficient amount. Whenever we are about to give a significant offering, it is not unusual to be attacked by fears of insufficiency. Will I have enough? What if I lose my job? What if my car breaks down? Whenever those thoughts come, the first thing to remember is that money is not our sufficiency in the first place. God is our sufficiency. When we begin to put our trust in anything other than God, it is idolatry. It is an idol. It is precious that God reminds us in this passage that if we freely give and freely look to Him, then we will have enough to meet every need. We will have all sufficiency in all things. Of course, there's a big difference between a need and a want. Contrary to what some seem to teach, God doesn't promise to satisfy every whim or passing fancy. Beyond the level called sufficiency is the level called abundance. It is at this level that we're all tested. It's one thing to have just enough to meet all your needs, but the real hard test comes from when we get a little extra. This is the point at which it's possible to pass from need over into greed. You see this whenever an individual who has been praying to get out of bondage of debt gets an unexpectedly large bonus. Often it never occurs to this person to take the extra money to pay down their debt. With a little extra money in their hands, he immediately thinks, now I can buy something that I really need, like a new set of golf clubs. This is what I mean when I say that we're tested in our need and we're tested in our greed. The need test comes as we must trust God to be our sufficiency. The greed test comes when we move beyond sufficiency into abundance. So stay tuned for the food for thought.